We touched upon it briefly in our introduction, but I want to talk about now this idea of identifying your customers, whether it's a record business or you're in the computer business or any business. Identifying who you think you're selling to is a key part of it. Talk about that in a little bit more detail, if you would.
Well, I think that for me, the best way to do it is sort of what I described earlier. Actually getting out there, meeting these people on the road, talking to them, getting feedback directly from them. That might not be the scientific way to do it, but I think it's probably the most accurate and rewarding way to do it. You know, there's also things that you can glean from, you know, looking at certain metrics, like you know, if you have access to SoundScan, you know, you can see where your customers are geographically. You know, you're selling better in one town than in another town. So, okay, we're going to go book a show there and not over here. Mm-hmm. You know, the same thing can be said for, you know, for ticket sales. You can sometimes get demographic information from the promoters and from places like Ticketmaster. I can't tell you exactly how to do that because I don't know, but yeah. I know that it has been done. Yeah, you can kind of drill down on it that way. You know, this business, like every business, has gotten very wrapped up in metrics and you know, being able to measure things, which is a good thing. I mean, it's something that makes you think. But I personally like getting out there, talking to people, and, you know, hearing real people tell you what they think, where they heard it.
Let me ask you, this is an old school one that for years is always worked. When you sign a young band, particularly a brand new band, do you find yourself when you're describing the music to somebody, well, they're kind of like this band and they're kind of like this, or they're a cross between, I used to describe Incubus, and this will scare you, is a cross between Santana, the Average White Band, Rage Against the Machine, and Korn. Right? And my boss said, that sounds fucking bloody awful. We had Richard Griffiths on the show. I think it's actually a good frame of reference to see who you think your band lines up with, because there are all kinds of ways, radio, touring, and so forth.
Yeah,
your thoughts?
Yeah. You know, that's an important point. I hate playing that game, but I do it too. You know, and that's another really good thing that you bring up. You know, the company you keep with other bands will dictate to some degree who your fans are going to be, you know? You might have a touring opportunity to go open for a band who's much bigger than you, and you'll play in front of thousands of people, but maybe it's not the right move because those people aren't your fans, you know? Maybe they're too old or too young, or maybe they're just not, you know, maybe they're too cool or not cool enough. Yeah. You know, these kind of things are important, and it's something that you just kind of got to feel in your gut. Yeah.
Another question, you kind of touched on it in our introduction there, is once you've kind of got a handle on who you think your customer might be, then it begs the question of, okay, if I've identified who they are, how do I find those people, where they're living, where they're breathing, whether they're working? Talk about that, if you would.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, that's what we spend most of our energy trying to do. I would say, you know, the best surefire way to do that is, you know, doing your own data collection. This is sort of, you know, this gets into the digital marketing part of it. You know, having a lot of, you know, having a lot of Twitter followers, having a lot of Facebook likes is very important, but you're still limited in what you can do with that information. You can't drill down as specifically with those people as you could, say, your own email list, where you can look at your email list and you can go by zip code and, you know, target the people who, you know, live in a certain area if you're coming through and you want to sell them tickets to a show. I'm a big you know, I'm a big fan of bands, you know, gathering and retaining and using their own data rather than just solely relying on social networks. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.